You guys, another week, another Blake Lively lawsuit update, and this time it's an update that also has to do with Taylor Swift. We've talked about the fact that Taylor Swift has found herself in the center of this freaking lawsuit, but her dad is apparently coming out and trying to get her out of this mess because he's so frustrated by what's going on. We're gonna get into how Taylor's dad has been brought into this whole situation and the latest in Blake and Justin's fight. Taylor Swift has officially been removed from the situation, but it's not just a clean break, it's messy. So let's rewind a sec. This whole mess started late last year, December 2024, when Blake Lively filed a lawsuit against Justin Baldoni. The whole thing has exploded, as we know, but basically back at the beginning, Blake accused Justin of harassment and creating a toxic environment on this set of the movie It Ends With Us. Blake claimed that there were some pretty serious boundary issues and inappropriate behavior happening on set, and it escalated quickly. Justin didn't just sit back though, he fired back with a $400 million defamation countersuit against Blake, her husband Ryan Reynolds, and their publicist Leslie Sloan, claiming they tried to ruin his reputation. Now, here's where Taylor Swift comes in. Justin's team tried to subpoena Taylor. Justin's legal team alleged that Blake leveraged her close relationships with Taylor and Ryan Reynolds to pressure him into accepting script rewrites. In their lawsuit, they cited a text message from Blake referring to Taylor and Ryan as her dragons, who protect her in conflicts, suggesting their influence was used to sway Justin's decision. Taylor's team responded by clarifying that her involvement with the film was limited to licensing her song My Tears Ricochet, a contribution similar to that of 19 other artists who had songs featured in the film. They emphasized that she had no role in casting, creative decisions, or production and had not seen the film until weeks after its release, and that this was just a blatant attempt to use Taylor's name and celebrity status to make this case even messier than it already was. Later, it came out through Justin's team that they got information that Blake had threatened to leak private text messages between her and Taylor unless Taylor publicly supported Blake. Justin's lawyer was doubling down that this was real information he had gotten from a source close to Taylor, that Blake had threatened her. He sent a signed letter to the judge that said, "On February 14th, 2025, I received a voicemail from a person very closely linked to Taylor Swift, whom I subsequently called back the same day. Out of respect for the individual in question, I am not identifying them at this time. However, should the court direct me to do so, I will comply with the court's order." During the February 14th phone call, which lasted approximately 1 hour, the speaker told me that they had been informed that J. Douglas Baldridge, counsel for Taylor Swift and partner at Venable LLP, had received a phone call from Michael Gottlieb, counsel for Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, during which Mr. Gottlieb requested, on Miss Lively's behalf, that Taylor Swift make a social media statement in support of Miss Lively, given her absence from the Super Bowl that year, and stated that if Miss Swift failed to do so, Miss Lively would release 10 years of private texts with Miss Swift. The individual also told me that they had been informed that Mr. Baldridge had accused Mr. Gottlieb of extortion and ended the call. During the same February 14th call, the individual told me that they had been informed that 4 or 5 months earlier, Miss Lively had requested that Miss Swift delete her text messages with Miss Lively. I was connected to this individual through a mutual friend who informed me that the individual wanted to talk. We have had several phone calls since February 14th. On a later call with the same individual, the individual told me that Mr. Baldridge had sent a written communication to Mr. Gottlieb relating to their phone conversation. My office issued a subpoena to Venable LLP for the purpose of seeking the aforementioned written communication. I declare under penalty of perjury pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 1746 that the foregoing is true and correct. And now it's come out that it was Taylor Swift's dad that went to Justin Baldoni's team with this claim. According to page 6, Scott Swift did not want his daughter to be dragged into this any further, and he voluntarily gave up this information as part of a deal that would include Baldoni's team withdrawing their subpoena for Taylor, an insider alleged to the Daily Mail Friday. They later wrote, "Despite all the back and forth about the alleged threats, though the judge in Lively 37 in Baldoni's case ruled that those allegations are inadmissible in court, called them improper and irrelevant. Baldoni, 41, then promptly dropped his subpoena against Taylor, 35, in what appeared to be a shocking legal move, given Friedman had argued for months that the Grammy winner played a role in Lively's alleged attempts to assert her control over his clients 2024 film. Basically, Justin's team subpoenaed Taylor, but once Taylor's dad, Scott Swift, stepped in and voluntarily gave Justin's team info about those alleged threats, there wasn't really a need for a formal subpoena anymore. Like, Scott literally handed over what they were hoping to get without forcing Taylor to testify. It was very much a let me protect my daughter moment. Deadline reported, in an unexpected move, the It Ends With Us star and director has withdrawn the paperwork seeking information from Swift about what she knew about what went down between her pal Lively and Wayfarer Studios co-founder Baldoni on the domestic-themed film. Part of the reason the document was dropped was because details that the Brian Friedman represented Baldoni and crew saw were already provided, I hear. But obviously, even though Taylor's legally in the clear, the damage to the friendships is a whole other story. Like, this whole thing has definitely put a massive wedge between Taylor and Blake. And with the trial coming up in 2026, we're probably going to hear more about this as things unfold. But honestly, it's not just the legal stuff. This whole thing has seriously impacted like friendships behind the scenes. There's rumors that Taylor has been distancing herself from Blake because of this, and Travis Kelce, Taylor's boyfriend, apparently unfollowed Ryan Reynolds on social media. Like, it's definitely given we are not on good vibes anymore. It's honestly so sad when you think about it. And the fact that her dad was willing to come out and talk to Justin's lawyers, I mean, that cannot be a good sign that everything is all good with Taylor and Blake, especially if her dad is the one that's saying that Blake tried to threaten her and get her to delete text messages and then also try and say, you know, you need to support Blake or we're gonna release texts. It's just crazy. It's messy. And I don't know why Blake would think that crossing Taylor Swift is a good idea, because she's got a ton of money. Her legal team is gonna be strong, and she's certainly not going to let any BS fly because she is just so big. She knows she cannot make any mistakes publicly. People are watching her. She doesn't want to get canceled, and Blake is definitely getting canceled right now. Whether people are, you know, wanting to support Blake in this whole lawsuit or not, the majority of the public is not looking at her in the best light right now. And I think Taylor wants to be far away from the conversation just because of how big and messy it is. It's sad though, because they have been friends for years and fans didn't want to see this happen, but it's just not a good look for Blake when you're hearing all of this, especially about her trying to force Taylor into publicly supporting her.
When Taylor Swift sings in The Archer, all of my enemies started out friends. She wasn't kidding, because what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, that's supposed to be her best friend. What do you mean?
I have so many questions about what is happening between Blake Lively and Taylor Swift. Number one, how low can you go? This is supposed to be one of your best friends, and you were trying to use threatening tactics against her. This also comes after text messages were released that Blake Lively seemed to think that she was queen. She was queen and she had her dragons, Taylor Swift being one of them. And I just want to know who the hell she thinks she is.
While all of this Taylor drama has been going down, though, Blake has been hard at work trying to get this lawsuit dismissed, and she's actually getting support from several advocacy groups who say the case threatens a hard-won legal protection for people who speak out about harassment and misconduct. According to the LA Times, Equal Rights Advocates, a San Francisco-based legal nonprofit that advocates for gender equity and workplace protections, filed an amicus brief on Tuesday urging a federal judge to uphold Lively's motion and defend California's new free speech law, protecting those who speak publicly about misconduct. A separate letter of interest was also filed by Elise Dorsey, a former federal employee and harassment survivor, who described being sued for defamation after speaking out and said the law at issue could have spared her a years-long legal ordeal. Additional briefs are expected in the coming days from advocacy groups, including Child USA and Sanctuary for Families. Lively invoked the law, California Civil Code Section 47.1, enacted in 2023 as part of Assembly Bill 933, in a motion filed in March to dismiss Baldoni's $400 million countersuit, which alleges she falsely accused him of harassment and retaliation and tried to wrest control of the film from him. Baldoni's legal team has strongly opposed the dismissal motion, arguing that Lively's accusations were knowingly false and that the statute she invoked is itself unconstitutional. They argue the law goes too far by threatening steep financial penalties, saying it could discourage people from going to court to defend themselves against false accusations. I guess we'll just have to see what ends up happening, but there are people that are standing behind Blake and they're saying that there's this law that protects people from coming forward and saying, hey, this happened to me, and protecting them from being sued for defamation. But this is the first major test of this bill according to the LA Times, so we're just going to see how this ends up playing out, but Blake is trying to get this dismissed. That is the latest as to what is going on in this case. I certainly want to know what you guys think about this and the Taylor Swift of it all. Her dad speaking to Justin's legal team. Let me know your thoughts. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.